Hello. It's unfortunate we couldn't play together yesterday, but maybe today we'll have some DVD times.
はい、今日のお弁当。
行ってきます。
Just like always, with lunch in hand, I headed to the hospital. Even though it was already halfway through August, the hot days still seemed to be continuing. The 7th floor. To the nurses whose faces I had become familiar with, I lowered my head slightly in greeting. What I then saw in the hall was a number of patients. Since it was right when the morning temperature examination ended, they had probably come with their helper for a walk. Suddenly, while looking at those people with white wristbands, a thought came to me. The residents of the 7th floor, couldn't they be divided into two groups? The patients who seemed almost to have taken a philosophical view and were calm, and those who seemed to always be busy doing something.
大丈夫ですよ。ちゃんと支えてますから。
Hearing a voice I recognized, I turned around and there was Chihiro-san. She was with an elderly lady in a wheelchair. Most likely, that person was Chihiro-san's assigned person. Say, we'll walk again later. Could we do that?
そうですね。もう少し日が陰ってから中庭に出ましょうね。
Today's tea is hojicha, by the way. With a calm way of speaking, she turned her usual gentle face to the elderly lady. Say, Chihiro-san, would you do that thing you always do?
いいですよ。
I thought she would answer that way, as she quietly joined her hands.
私たちを試みに合わせないでください。
And she offered up a prayer, a number of other words following.
あ、節美さん、ああやっていつも祈ってるの。ええ、誰かのために祈るのは良いことですからね。
Chihiro-san answered with the usual kind expression, but at those words, I felt something that nagged at me. For someone. That was why I tried asking a direct question.
自分のためじゃダメなの。それは。
There, her words stopped. There was no more response from her. The usual gentle face was also gone. The first time I saw the expression on Chihiro-san, a simply troubled face was looking at me. Guess we don't get our answer. Like before, Himiko-san was gazing at maps. At my entering the hospital room, she just gave me a brief glance, her eyes soon returning.
面白い。
Does it seem that way? As I answered, I sat down next to her and gazed at the maps also. Just as I thought, this sort of activity couldn't be considered fun, but these maps, what were they to Himiko-san, I wonder? Even the 7th floor people who seemed to have taken a philosophical view on everything. Perhaps they too wavered with some regrets.
例えるならば、私たちは死刑囚ね。死ぬと宣告だけされたけど、その日がいつ来るかわからないから、限られた時間に追われているのよ。
The condemned. Now that she said it, one could almost agree. Just as I had thought just before, on the 7th floor, there were people who were always busy. Rather, one could even think that because they knew they were dying, they were trying to be lively. Or perhaps for people, being aware of death, maybe that's the first time they are also able to become aware of life.
落ち着いている者は、すでに覚悟のできた人でしょう。もしくは、そう装っているものでしょうね。
姫子さんは
もちろん後者よ。この年で覚悟決められる人間なんていないわ。
She declared it plainly.
そうじゃなかったら死ぬまでにやってみたい10のことなんて言わないでしょ。
Saying just that, once again Himiko-san gazed at the maps. Then she turned to me, who was gazing at the maps in the same way.
節美、髪伸びているわね。
あ、そうかも。
Now that she mentioned it, it might have gotten a bit longer. This month, mother hadn't cut it for me yet.
切ってあげようか。え、来なさい。お姉さんがカットしてあげるから。
At the sudden offer, I couldn't really grasp the situation, but with Himiko-san already walking ahead, I followed after. Then, when we came in front of the nurse's station, she turned to the nurse inside.
ねえ、上へ行きたいんだけど、貸してくれる？
There's nothing wrong with that. Is it a haircut?
ええ、今日は風もないからね。
Then, after taking something from the nurse, Himiko-san once again walked down the hall.
節美、こっちよ。
Walking a bit, the place we finally stopped at was the end of the hall. To be correct, it was just where you got off the emergency stairs, in front of an always closed, large metal door. Up until now, I had never seen it opened, but most likely this was the entrance for the roof.
じゃーん、ここで鍵の登場。
For a second, the world turned pure white. When my eyes adjusted, what appeared before me was strong wind, summer sky, high fence. Many laundered sheets fluttered in the wind.
今日はいい天気ね。絶好の散髪日和よ。
Looking up at the sky, Himiko-san spoke up.
初めてでしょ。ここに来たのは。
初めて。
まあ普通はそうよ。入院患者には絶対に来させない場所だからね。
That reason, even without saying, could be imagined. A fence about the same height as the 7th floor ceiling. What reason put it there was simple if you thought about it.
じゃあ、散髪しましょうか。
本当にやるの？
大丈夫よ。こう見えてもお姉さん、うまいもんよ。
As she spoke, she pointed to a small bench before us.
まずはそこに腰掛けて。
And then she took out a big, clear white garbage bag.
次は、ここに頭を通して。
Probably cut with scissors. That was hole just large enough to pass one's head through in the garbage bag. When I put my head through a stole, like a barbershop's cover, it totally covered my body. And then before my eyes, she made the scissors go swish swish.
さて、お客さん、どれくらいにしますか？
お客さん？
夏らしくバッサリなんてどうです？
揃えるくらいで。
了解しました。
While laughing and running through with the brush, Himiko-san, with a practiced hand, then began cutting. The delightful sounding swish of scissors. Just now, she seemed to be trimming the hair and back for me. If she cuts it strangely, that'd be bad, but it would be an interesting souvenir, I suppose. While holding that thought, I also considered other things. She said that hospital patients couldn't come to this place. That reason even I could understand and be satisfied with. Then, unheeding of the fact that she was a resident of the 7th floor, why was it that Himiko-san could come here like this? Was it because she was a former helper, so she's trusted?
ねえ、節美。気になるのは、自分の髪？それとも、違うことかしら？
違う方。
いいわよ。じゃあ答えてあげる。元ヘルパーだから信用されてるってわけじゃないわね。
じゃあ、何？
やっぱこの現代においても、禁忌の一つなのよね。カトリックにとっては。
At first, I didn't understand what she was saying, but I soon realized suicide.
元カトリックのくせに信用されているのね。
ほんと。思わず期待を裏切ってフェンス飛び越えてみたくなっちゃうわよね。
As always, Himiko-san said something where I couldn't tell if she was serious or joking. Though likely she wasn't, but just if suddenly she ran towards the fence, what would I do? Right now, I was the only one here. Somehow, while thinking only about that, I started feeling uneasy.
さて、こんなもんかしら。はい、お客さん。カット終わりましたよ。ありがとう。
As I replied, I accepted a hand mirror and looked at my hair.
前髪が。
When I looked, about 2 centimeters above the eyebrows, it was cut straight across. It's like a Japanese doll, or a child at a Shichiko-san festival.
かわいいわよ。違う方に気を取られているからよ。女の子なんだから自分の髪も心配しないと。
In my somewhat sulking face, Himiko-san looked like she was enjoying herself even more. No matter how much you say it suits me or is cute, laughing like that, there's no persuasive force behind it. Helplessly, I gave a sigh. Then I asked about the thing that I had sensed from before.
ねえ、もしかしてだけど、私を誰かの姿と重ねているの。なかなか鋭い質問ね、それは。
And then, when she thought of it,
半分はそうかもしれないわね。じゃあ、残り半分は。それは秘密よ。
this was also made a secret. It was the same with the rules from before. Once in a while, there were things that Himiko-san wouldn't talk about.
さてと、じゃあ帰りますか。
Putting away the scissors she used, the two of us then cleaned the space of Himiko-san's barbershop. Then, just when I thought she was walking towards the door we entered from, suddenly those feet stopped and turned around.
ああ、そうそう。最後の一つだけどさ、そろそろかなって思っているんだけど。
The final one, about time, most likely was probably referring to what she had mentioned before. The 10 things to do before dying.
またどこかに行く気なの？ええ。とりあえずここじゃダメね。こんな高さじゃ足らないわ。
Was she saying that for jumping off, it wasn't enough? Those were her words as she pointed at a rooftop fence.
あなたは知らないことだけど、本当なら私、2回目くらいなのよ。何のこと？入退院の回数。私はつてがあるからずっといるけどさ。
And then I was thought that a third time was lust, and there is no fourth.
やっぱ私も体力的に耳と近いみたいでね。病院を抜け出すのもここらが最後だと思うのよ。まあ、日帰りは無理だと思うけど、よかったら付き合ってよ。
Slowly, the sky stained orange. As the burning sun sank, and the loud miminzemi switched over to higurashi. Let's see, miminzemi are cicadas that go minmin, often heard in the day. Higurashi are a type often heard at dawn or dusk, and are said to have a mournful call. I see. Minminzemi, huh? The place I suddenly stopped at was the usual schoolyard. Not really doing anything, just standing in front of the metal bar, thinking about the things from just before. Nia-chan, do you want to play with the bar? Perhaps out of consideration for me being there. A child playing nearby once again spoke to me.
いいのよ。私のことは気にしないで。
At that reply, even while giving me a somehow mystified look, the child once again ran back to a group of friends who were playing. Just before, Himiko-san said that returning on the same day was impossible. Where we were going she didn't know yet, but I was told to make sure to get mother's permission. If it's okay, come with me.
無理強いはしない。
Even saying that, when you spend close to a month together, and then say that this would be the last. Again, the two of us ate today's dinner. Atop the table were the usual dishes and fried things. Looking pleased, mother beamed at an empty lunchbox. Even during the dinner that was the same as always, I was thinking about what happened earlier.
ねえお母さん。どうしたの？またドライブに誘われているんだけど。
ああ、いいじゃないの。 例の姫子さんよね。
うん。でも今度は、お泊まりなんだけど。
いいわよ、別に。
Despite the possibility of what if, she easily gave her permission.
じゃあまた、お弁当用意してあげるわね。
うん。ありがとう。
また頑張って作っちゃうわよ。ってそうだ、今日の出来も悪くないわよ。
Saying that, the plate that she offered up was the usual fries.
あら、どうしたの？あなたポテト好きでしょ？
So naturally, very matter-of-factly, Mother offered them, seeming very pleased. But on those hands wasn't a big manicure. Instead, a slightly reddened hand happily offered the plate. For fries, all I had to do was quietly eat them. No matter how much I hated them, if I endured it, it was fine. But was this really kindness, I wonder? Suddenly, I was reminded of Himiko-san's words. Even if whoever was punishing us were to not give us a pardon, I really wanted to say I'm sorry. To Mother, to Himiko-san.
ねえお母さん。
I gathered my courage and brought things to life.
姫子さんって、7階の人なの。
え？7階って何？
ホスピスのこと。
ああ、あそこの看護婦さんなの？
It might have been perfectly natural, but that's how she was thought of.
そこの患者さん。
はい。
ホスピスの入院患者さん。
え？ホスピスの患者さんって。
A long, very long silence. The voice of the host on television, not his words, but his noise, rang out. In reality, it might have been a very short time, but for me it felt unbelievably long. I thought, just maybe, never again would time move. It seemed that never again could something go back to how it was, and I was afraid. Already, the smile that had been there before was gone. The hand holding a croquette was where it had stopped, even though she had been so happy that I had made a friend. If I hadn't revealed it, even now, she would have been smiling.
やめて節に。そういう人に近づくのは。お母さん、怖いのよ。いつか、あなたもそうなるんじゃないかと思うと。
Spoilers.
ごめんなさい。
As expected, I had no other words. That isn't kindness, words which Himiko-san said to me, who silently ate the fries. But putting that into action, I had been told it would be very difficult. Well, we're definitely approaching the endgame.
ほら、じっとしてなさい。そんなこと言われても、くすぐったいもん。
The 7th floor's bathroom. Today was the second bathing day of the week.
私までびしょびしょに。ごめんなさい。いいのよ。お姉さんもついでにシャワーしちゃうから。
Even though it could be called wide, compared to a normal home bath, it was just slightly wider. When we two were in the tub, it was enough to be tight.
ねえ、まだ。もうちょっとでシャンプーの過ぎ終わるから。はーい。
The girl was squeezing her eyes shut and waited for the end of the shampooing. Even this kind of exchange was now becoming a familiar thing.
さて、次は姫子理髪店よ。
Opening a hole in a garbage bag and passing her head through, I had the girl sit on a folding chair. If there was no wind, it could also have been done on the roof, but mostly the cutting was done in the hospital room. Us helpers were also gardeners, also cleaners, and occasionally barbers.
どうかしら。前髪も揃えてみたんだけど。
なんかちょっと変かも。
あら、まっすぐ揃えるのは嫌いだった？
そうじゃないけど、短すぎるよな。
もう、これくらいが可愛いんじゃない。子供らしくって。
なんか恥ずかしいかも。
The scent of the shampoo's mint spread from the still damp hair into the narrow hospital room. The girl sat on the folding chair that I always sat on, and from the garbage bag, she gave me a bit of a dissatisfied look. On the floor spread 3 sheets of newspaper. It was a barber shop that used 2 small hand mirrors. A few days later, if one looked, it was towards the middle of August. Today also, the girl was here. Today too, I was here.
じゃあ、体温計ちょうだい。
Taking the thermometer that was in her mouth, I read the numbers on a digital display.
なんと
6度2分。これなら大丈夫ね。
じゃあ今日も中庭でアイス？
いいえ。今日は別の予定を考えているの。
別の予定？
まず、そのためにはこっちが先ね。
As I answered, I opened the paper bag I had brought. Half of today's plan was in there.
それ、なに？
新しい服を持ってきてあげたのよ。
パジャマはこの前ももらったのに。
パジャマじゃないわよ。
With a bit of a flourish, I took it out of the bag to show her. After all, it was something that used up over half of this month's allowance, and I had spent 2 hours debating over which to get.
じゃーん。
ワンピース！
気に入った？
Happily, the girl vigorously nodded many times. It was a one-piece dress in summery white with a yellow sunflower pattern on it.
さて、それじゃあ着替えたら早速行くわよ。
行くって、もしかして外へ？
教会よ。
As I answered, I undid the buttons on her pajamas. Truth was, for a while she had said she wanted to visit the church.
本当は別にパジャマのままでもいいんだけど、まあ、せっかくだからね。
お姉さん、ありがとう。
The burning sun and sound of cicadas. Today looked like it was going to be another hot day. Under that sky, we walked side by side. It was the first time we went outside a hospital. Of course, even if she said she wanted to go further, I wouldn't be able to take her. No, not that I wouldn't be able to. No one would. That's why a place like the neighborhood church was the only place I could take her. In moments, we reached the church. I quietly opened the doors that I was used to passing through.
誰もいないね。
まあ、この時間はね。
The girl's expression turned slightly nervous. Even considering her age, it was probably her first time coming to a church.
ここに神様がいるの？
それは難しい質問ね。
To be precise, it was probably a consecrated place for the worship of God. At least for me, here or not here didn't seem like an answer I could give.
でも、ここでなら魔法効果が違うんだよね。
まあ、そんなとこかな。
And we approached the altar and offered prayers. I prayed for the girl's happiness. Even if the future were closed, at least until then, I wished that she would be without regrets. And the remaining half, for always holding many secrets, I prayed for my own forgiveness.
どう？もう終わった？じゃあ帰ろっか。またいつでも連れてきてあげるからね。
ありがとう。
And then, as we made to leave,
お姉さん？あなたの上に主の豊かな恵みと祝福がありますように。お姉さんにも魔法をかけてみたよ。
saying that, her usual cheery expression faced me, without a single shadow, an innocent smile faced me. Surely she didn't understand the meaning of the words. However, even more so because of that, the sentiment made me really happy. And then, half of the prayer, used for my own forgiveness. For me, who could do nothing other than buy ice cream for her, it was painful. Right above was the sun, noisy with the cries of the cicadas. As usual, the hot days continued. It was a summer day unchanged from yesterday, but a little bit changed with the girl. Up until now, she had been so attached to me. But between one day and the next, she came to hold a bit of distance.
おはよう。
Exchanging our morning greetings, I sat down in the usual folding chair. Then, when I looked at the tray she had already finished eating,
もう、またこんなに残しちゃって。ごめんなさい。
between one day and the next, she wound up barely eating.
ダメよ。しっかり食べないと。でも、欲しくないから。なんだったらさ、食堂でもいいから。
Even with that suggestion, no response. Though before, even if it wasn't for ice cream, she'd happily go. To not eat, that, on this 7th floor, was a deadly thing. Unlike other wards, full-blown nutrient IV drips were not given here. Of course, there's some sugar contained in them. The main purpose was rehydration. The word deadly meant exactly that. It was immediately linked to death.
そんなことじゃ、あっという間に弱ってくるんだから。弱ってくる？そうよ。食べないと体が持たないわ。じゃあ、弱った先は？もっと体が弱っちゃうと、どうなるの？それは。
Well, here is the kicker. Here my words stopped. In my throat, I swallowed the word die. Normally, preaching about life and death was the duty of the church. Our duty was also to support that. And here was the 7th floor, a place where we speak to those who have lived life peacefully of coming death. However, for a young girl, for a girl who could not have been said to have fully lived, just who in the world could speak of death now? Exactly in these times. Maybe I should have let her hear the words of St. Augustine or Lord Jesus, but for me, offering up half a prayer and buying ice cream was about all I could do. A few days after, late night. As always, the girl ate very little. And at that girl's side, again I was sleeping in the spare bed.
大丈夫？
Late at night, in the dark hospital room, the girl was coughing. Right now, all I could do was gently pat her back. In the past few days, because she had been leaving most of her food, it was visible that her strength was dropping. And now she was clearly avoiding me. If I spoke to her, she would barely make a response. The times where she would speak to me on her own completely disappeared. Amongst all that, suddenly, she opened her mouth.
ねえ、お姉さん、これ、返す。ロザリオ？
What she took out of her pajama pocket was a rosary. Without a doubt, the one that I had given her before.
それでね、もうここには来ないでほしいの。どうして？突然そんなことを言うの？
That's... There, her words stopped. Since a few days ago, the girl had definitely been acting strangely. And then, a single thing came to mind.
少し前のことだけど、確か知らないおばさんに 話しかけられたって言ってたわね。それって、もしかしてさ、ルールっていうのに関係してる？
At that question, there was no response. However, I felt the silence wasn't a no, but a yes. I had been convinced it was a rumor, but it looks like that kind of legacy did exist, and most likely, the girl had heard it.
もしよかったら、お姉さんにも教えてくれる？でも、大丈夫よ。絶対に秘密にするから。誰にも言っちゃダメだって。
Finally, she cried, even though until now, not once had she cried. Rules. Before, all that I had heard was that they were only passed to the residents of the 7th floor. I suppose it was only the problem of those who were headed towards death. That was why, for me, I might not have the right to hear, no matter how close, was alloys. I could not become the patrash who accompanies them in death. In the end, nothing other than someone watching from the side.
ごめんね。聞いたりしないから。
Simply just patting her back, so that just even a little bit sooner, she would stop crying. Just a little bit sooner, she would smile for me. Just a little bit sooner. The girl continued to cry, but the legacy that was passed down, what was in there was simple to imagine. Don't eat. That was the shortest route to death. That was something that us helpers had also suspected. Coming to a place like this 7th floor, people who died from the worsening of sickness was rare. Instead, seemingly all on their own, they gave up food, simply weakening and then dying. I learned that those were common. Most likely, that was not for their own sake. Financially, psychologically, for various reasons, it was probably an act stemming from wanting to lighten the burden of those left behind. I, who had become close, was beginning to be pushed away for the same reason. For the one leaving, it was to pain those left behind just a little bit less. And also, on top of hearing those rules, there was a chance she learned that which I most feared.
お父さん、お母さんはどこ？私、死んじゃうの？それは。
There, my words choked.
それはじゃわからないよ。ちゃんと答えてよ。
I had thought to say something, but especially at a time like this, I knew that I had to say something. Even though I was supposed to know what kindness should be, even though I was supposed to be a Catholic in order to speak of life and death. And yet, I could not find any words. Outside the window, there was a night sky that was beginning to lighten. In this narrow hospital room, the girl's sobs reverberated. Even though I was the professor, the doctor, I couldn't give an answer. At this time, if I were a real doctor of the church, if I were Augustine or Jerome, maybe I could have answered with something. Well, that's depressing. But man, I gotta say, these voice actresses are pretty darn good, huh? Wonder what the script in Japanese is like. You can kind of tell, I guess. But some of the words keep repeating, so I wonder if there are nuances in this. Well, And on that note, until next time.